Hi, I'm Brother Jake. Now, recently there have been a lot of people saying that Mormons weren't going to vote for Trump or didn't like Trump because he didn't represent Mormon values, but that's not true at all. Mormons love Donald Trump because he's a great representation of Mormon values. Let me explain. But first, you got to remember that this whole election wasn't happening in a vacuum. He was running against, a Democrat. And not just any Democrat, Hillary Clinton, who's like the queen of all Democrats, which would have been just the worst, since she and her party would have enacted policies and appointed Supreme Court justices supporting things that go against Republican values like allowing abortion, expanding gun control and welfare, bigger government, and higher taxes. You just can't let that happen. And since it's a two-party system, you kind of just have to choose the one that's, in your party. I mean, I guess technically the official stance of the Mormon Church is that they don't endorse any particular American political party, so the Republican Party isn't the officially official party of Mormonism per se, but that's just something they have to say. Deep down, they're Republicans, because the Republican Party is the party Jesus would belong to if he was alive. Well, he's alive, but if he were, here. And sure, I guess some people might say, but it's not really fair to say the Republican Party has a monopoly on Christian values because many of the tenets of the Democratic Party, like expanding social safety nets and supporting environmentalism, align with Christ's teachings about caring for the poor and being stewards of the earth. But that's just crazy. The things Jesus would care about in this day and age would be making abortion illegal, making sure the wrong people aren't getting married to each other, and allowing unrestricted access to deadly weapons. Seriously, a Mormon Democrat? Who's even heard of that? But anyway, it's not just that Trump was in the right party. Mormons love Trump for a whole bunch of reasons. Like, for example, all the policies of his that support Mormon values, like what are some of the ones that he's known for?
When politicians talk about immigration reform, they usually mean the following: amnesty, open borders.
Mexico sends its people. They're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
Yeah, that's not... Immigration's a bit tricky, because in its early days, Mormonism benefited immeasurably from converts that were allowed to immigrate to the U.S. after they joined the church, and even in modern times, LDS leaders have actually been pretty outspoken on this issue in support of more open immigration policies, but, that's just a bad example. What about like his first, big policy?
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Yeah, that's not a great one either, since Mormons kind of have a history of being an oppressed religious minority in the U.S., so advocating for a religious test for citizenship is a bit of a no-no, but, it's not about one specific policy per se. Trump is just a great representation of Republican ideals in general,
That's the issue for them is marriage equality. Do you support marriage equality?
It's irrelevant because it was already settled. It's law. It was settled in the Supreme Court. I mean, it's done.
But you would not ban it?
No.
Or ban partial birth abortion?
No, I am pro-choice in every respect.
Shoot. Okay, well, that was in the past. People can change, right? So let's not get so hung up on the things he allegedly said in televised interviews,
You can't give him the benefit of the doubt on this, and he's telling you what was in his heart. You always want to go by what's come out of his mouth rather than look at what's in his heart.
Exactly. Why is everyone so obsessed with interpreting the words that happen to come out of his mouth as manifestations of the thoughts inside his mind? What's more important is what's in his heart. It's like what Jesus said, by their fruits ye shall know them. And deep down, the Trump fruit is good. He's a good, upstanding guy. I mean, sure, he's had some dicey times. His past doesn't exactly match up with a Mormon lifestyle, with all the getting involved with people who would later become his wife while he was still married to his first wife, which is something that's definitely, absolutely 100% against Mormonism's founding principles, and bragging about fornication and doing Playboy photo shoots and not being, very nice to people on occasion and incurring a bunch of debt and then declaring bankruptcy to avoid paying people for their work, which might make him seem like he's some sort of, I don't know.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud.
Yeah. I mean, no, just be quiet, man. Look, maybe Trump hasn't been Mr. Squeaky Clean, but what's the big deal with having a Boy Scout president anyway? I mean, it's not like Mormon scriptures specifically warn against choosing leaders that don't live up to God's standards, right?
For behold, how much iniquity doth one wicked king cause to be committed, yea, and what great destruction.
Well, yeah, there's that one, but they're talking about a king, so, doesn't apply. Oh, that's out of context. And, maybe it's about time we had a leader who's a bit of a rough stone rolling, if you know what I mean. Somebody who gets his hands dirty and is willing to stand up to political correctness and say it like it is. That's the great thing about Trump. He says exactly what he means.
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Yeah, that wasn't, are we not all sinners? Who are we to cast the first stone? Didn't Christ tell us to forgive all men? So maybe Trump's flagship policies fundamentally conflict with some of the main distinguishing aspects of Mormon Republicans. And maybe he's gone on record many times in the past directly contradicting pillars of the Republican platform. And maybe his personal life and conduct haven't totally squared with the notions of modesty and decency on which Republicans in general and Mormon Republicans especially define themselves. It's just, he didn't... Look, it's not that big a deal.
Grab him by the...
He was running against Hillary Clinton, okay? And as Mormons, we needed to find the charity, which is the pure love of Christ, to look past Trump's words and deeds and forgive him enough for him to defeat the woman who had made herself totally and completely unforgivable because of her past words and deeds. And sure, it might seem hypocritical to advocate that one candidate be offered forgiveness under Christ's infinite and eternal grace while portraying his opponent as an irredeemable sinner that must be opposed at all costs, but it really isn't, because when you have a two-party system with two imperfect candidates, there's actually a secret code for figuring out which one Jesus would support. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So you see, Mormons had every reason to love Trump.